Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the shop. Now today we're going to be taking this piece of file and we're going to be forging a Sgian-dubh. Now I've had this piece of file laying around the shop for quite a while. It's actually left over from another project, so it's about time we do something with it. Now what I have done is it was hot cut off right up here, so I did go and I cleaned up this end to avoid any carp mouthing or cold shuts there at the end. And I also ground the sides, and the reason for that is these files have teeth along the edge, and even though I'm not going to be forging much in the width because it's about the proper width right now, mainly the forging will be up here on the point, I don't want to risk any cold shuts along the edge. So I just went ahead and cleaned that up, and I actually ground a tiny bevel around all the edges to keep those teeth from being pushed out. And so it's all cleaned up and ready to be tossed into the forge, so let's get to work. Alright, so I've ground the flats on both sides, and so I made this little template here, just a piece of paper, and I put these magnets on there and just went around it with a Sharpie. And so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to grind the point in, grind the edges just a little bit, and then we can scribe some lines on here for the bevel and for the notches for the filing along the top here. A lot of these will have a little fuller on them right in this area here. I'm probably not going to do that on this one. I haven't really had a chance to practice with something that small, so I don't really have the proper tooling to do that. I have no files small enough. I don't have any blades for a rotary carver or anything like that that I could do it with properly, so I'm going to practice that, and in the future if we make another one I'll give it a go on that one. But alright, so let's get this ground and get ready to finish her up, or get ready for heat treat anyway. Alright, so I got on the grinder and I was cleaning everything up, and I went to do the filing of the notches in the spine and screwed it up. So I've changed the plan completely. So what I did was I decided to go with a texture. And so this is almost like a, it's not really, I wouldn't call it a flint knapped texture, but it ought to be pretty cool. Never have done this before, and so you guys that's done it quite a bit of times and turn out epic pieces, just bear with me, I'm doing something for the first time here. But with that being said, it's ready for heat treat, and so I'm going to take it over, heat it up, get it quenched, get it tempering oven, and then we will grind some bevels along the edges here and see how it turns out. I think it'll be pretty neat. Definitely something different than I normally do, so let's get it tossed in the forge. Alright, so everything went through the quench well. Didn't warp or anything. Kind of surprising with all this unevenness, but it came through it great. No cracks or anything. So now I'm going to scribe me some lines just here on the edge. And then I'm going to not roughen the bevels. I'll finalize the bevels. And then we'll move on to getting this thing put together. I will probably end up cleaning it up the best I can, then etching it in some ferric chloride. And it should turn out pretty neat. Alright, enough talking. Let's get to work. Alright, so we got our blade ground. It's all ready to go. So now I'm going to turn my attention to getting this squared up and cleaned up so we can get to work on the guard. So I'm going to take it over to the mill, and I'm going to go ahead and mill all this off, get us a nice flat surface there so we can get the tang hole put in it. So let's get on the mill real quick. Alright, so here's where we are. I used the rotary carver and put some texture on top of our bolster here. Also went around the edges and roughed it up a little too, just to break up that flat finish. And I used some brass black and gave it this color. I think it'll go well with the blade and the antler. Alright, as for the blade, I'm fixing to put it in ferric chloride. so you get that in focus. I'm going to get some ferric chloride to knock the shininess down. That way it matches the bolster better. And on the handle portion, what I did here was the void didn't open up anymore when I cleaned this up. So I just covered this with super glue and just let it really soak in there. Put multiple layers on it. That way it's rock solid. So just a little cleanup around the edges there. Knock the sharpness down on it. I think we're in good shape. So I'm going to get that blade put in ferric chloride and get it taken care of, and then I'll get this glued up and show you how it turned out. Alright, there we are. It's fun to try out some new stuff with the texturing on this blade. Not too bad for just some scraps I had laying around the shop. I appreciate you checking this out. Hit that sub button if you would to follow along. Ring the notification bell to notify me of this content that posts, and I will see you soon. You all have a good one. Bye-bye.